Welcome back. We're back in the shop, and this week we're going to knock a bunch of stuff out on this old tractor. As you can see, we got the hood back on it, and we'll go over all that we got done on it. When we left off last time, we had that oil filter, or put the oil filter on there and had drained the oil out of it, and that old oil cap had a bunch of junk down in it there. So just go ahead and put in the comments, how many times do you think I had to rinse that thing out trying to get that junk out there? Anyway, come on along. You'll see what we're getting into this week. Video's a little bit long, but we got a lot done, and she's looking good and running good. So let's get right into it. I noticed that thing was leaking oil like crazy when letting it run there a while ago. Oh, this is gonna be an oil bath right here if we ain't careful. Yeah. You see that? Looks like grease. The oil's thick. Yeah, that thing was way past oil change time. So I may turn you off here for a second and pour some used oil through that just to flush that out, because there's so much garbage in the bottom of that. And then we'll get the new oil and stuff. I'll bring you back here before we get too far along. So I went over there and got some off-road diesel, and I'm going to pour that diesel fuel through there. Put me a funnel in there. I think we may try about 2 quarts. We'll go down there and take that bottom piece out, drain that. I might do that from right here. It's going to get messy. And then we'll pour some more oil in there. Well, we'll take it a little bit at a time. I'll go a little bit and see what we got. See if we can drain this out without getting drowned. Well, that ain't going. There we go. That's got to be getting a little bit of it out. All right, I'm going to pour the rest of this off-road diesel in there. Alright, need to find a little bit more used oil to pour in there. Kind of rinse that diesel fuel down and out. Yep, if I don't get her flushed out, she ain't getting flushed, right? Alright, here we go again. Oh yeah. Oh man, there's still gunk in that right there. Well, I think I'm gonna have to put some more diesel fuel in there. That is just nasty. And I may just let it sit for a while. That off-road diesel will pretty much cut into that sludgy stuff in the bottom. All right, we'll empty our pan again. All right, so it's Monday and we're back in the shop. Left the old tractor sitting all weekend. We'd filled it up with off-road diesel there and let it set. And so here in a minute we'll get over and drain that thing out and see how much that gunk we can get out of the oil pan and decide whether or not we're going to take the oil pan off or not. Did price an oil pan gasket this morning. It ain't much, $14, $15. Probably just take a couple days to get it, but a lot of junk in the bottom of that pan. Might just go ahead and take it off and clean it up. And when they jump in here and get the light switch and the fuel stuff put back in there. So this old tractor hood over here, got that all pressure washed out and got that cleaned up real good. So that thing's ready. We'll rewire those lights on that and get it ready to put back on there as well. So get back in here and get started on this thing. So come on, let's see what we can get into. All right, we'll get started on this thing again. Might as well roll my sleeves up because this is going to be messy. That off-road diesel's been sitting in that thing all weekend. So hopefully we can get it to rinse out all that gunk. If not, we'll just look and see what it's going to take to pull that oil pan off and clean it up, put us a new gasket on there and put it back together. So might as well go ahead and grab me a couple of paper towels, because this is going to be messy. So let's go down here and see what we can get into. I've already got a little oil that's dripped out here. Get this old filter up out of here. It's been sitting there draining all weekend. We'll set it over here and take care of that in a few minutes. From remembering from last week, this is going to spew everywhere when we take this out. So just had that hand tightened anyway, didn't I? Oh yeah. That stinks to high head. Actually don't even really smell like diesel fuel. Kind of got a gassy smell to it. What a mess. Alright, so that thing's got a little bit of a guard up in there, so you can't reach all the way up in there, but it's got all the thick oil kind of dissolved, but I can feel a little bit of garbage in there still. It ain't near as bad as it was. That's done a lot of good right there. Yeah, there's a bunch of junk up in there too. Well, it's more work, but the right thing to do is just to go ahead and take that oil pan off and clean it up right. Yeah, on there. And got a big old dent in it right there anyway. Probably needs to be fixed. Put that plug back in there so it ain't dripping all over us. Go ahead and clean this mess up out of the floor here. Let's see, get my jug back over here. Go ahead and pour this junk in it. See if you can see in there, there's all kinds of dirt, grime. Yeah, we need to go ahead and take that oil pan off, clean all that mess up. I may flip you over and put you on time lapse, and I'll get in here and take these bolts out. Hopefully we don't have to remove that. Get that oil pan drop down, see if we can get it out of there. get it cleaned up, get us a gasket ordered. So we'll be back. All right, so we got this pan off here. Let's go in here and take a look at it. We got it cleaned out. I don't know. I started to say pretty good, but that's horrible. Got that old greasy gunk in the bottom of it. And it's got grit in it too, like dirt or something, which is settled in there over the years. That oil bath on the breather had a, yeah, that's horrible. Had a hole rusted in the bottom of it, so the oil had run out of the oil bath breather. So it had been breathing some junk over the years. I'm guessing from the looks of that oil. So we'll get this cleaned up, get us a gasket ordered, and see if we can't get this thing back together. All right, so I got the old oil pan cleaned up, took it over and put it in the parts washer and a brush, and got all that dirty junk out of it. You can see she's bowed up in here pretty bad. Got a big old knot right there. It's just beat up everywhere. And another thing, you have the same thing a lot of times with valve covers too. This right here is actually up higher than the rest of this. And what that is over time, you know, it's leaking or whatever, and somebody comes in and tightens that bolt up just to keep the oil pan from leaking, and it squishes that gasket out. So this is way too high. So we'll need to kind of take a hammer and work these back down all the way around, and that's kind of a common thing. And this plug's been replaced at some time. That's probably off of 8N or something. It got that red on it. So you can see this big old dent down in here. So we're gonna see if we can't beat that back out a little bit and get this thing straightened up. And my first idea is just put it up on that block there so that bottom ain't reaching all the way down. Take one of these wood blocks here and see if we can kind of knock that back down. Anyway, I'll set you up here and we'll get on this thing, see what we can do with it. I'll take you over here and show you this old oil pan. We got it cleaned up. That's a pretty good first coat, just sprinkled on there, but what happened was I run out of paint. So got all the dents. Well, not all of them, but we got it way better than it was. Got this knocked back down in there. There's a tube that runs across there that kind of sits in that. So she's looking pretty good. So I also went and ordered a oil pan gasket for that, and it'll probably be 2 days before that gets here. Something else to hold us up. But I went ahead and came over here too on this hood. Went ahead and wired up. You see that wire right there, wired up that light on the other side. Run it around, got this one wired up. Got both of them tucked down in that little groove right there. And just got them hanging out here for right now. We'll get that hood on there. We'll put ends on them, tie them back into that new switch that we got. So I can probably go ahead and put the hood on. Go ahead and get this air breather back on there. So I might set you up and work on that a little bit. Might put that breather on there first and then work on the hood. So we'll be back in a minute. I had a comment about this old jack here. Let me show you this thing. First, it works just like any other jack. I mean, as far as you turn the handle and it lets it down. Turn the handle back the other way and it jacks up. It's got a nice feature right here where it locks it, so you can take and move it around wherever you want to move it to. And then when this is high enough, we picked up that old tractor there where it would drain out. But if you wanted to do something different with it, it's got this little deal right here that stores right here, that you can sit down on there. And that bolts right down in there, and there's a wrench right here that stays on the jack that you can tighten that down with. We won't tighten it all the way down, just a demonstration here. So that gives you a little bit more boost. If you got something forward, something that's a little taller. So that gets you up a little higher, but then it's got an adjustment here as well. So pull that pin out right there and you can run it up even higher. So that gets it up there. I can't keep up with it. So I've got it up there where she's 14 inches off the floor. See what she'll get all the way up, I don't even know. It's a 3-ton jack, and that 3500 GMC that was working on here a while back. I picked up the whole back of that truck with it. So she'll come up there to, that's 28, 29 inches, so that thing's handy as all get out. It won't be good. It won't be good for getting under a low car. I think most cars you could probably get it done. You know, mid full size car, you could probably get it under it and jack it up. But anything like that convertible over there, sports car, it ain't gonna go under it. It would be, let's see what we got here. Lowest point's gonna be about 6 1/4, 6.5 inches. So I've got that little old jack around here somewhere that's a low profile for getting under small stuff. But with these wheels, like, man, you can roll that thing around out there in the gravel, and especially with this lock back here. There we go. You just pick it up and roll it around. It's pretty handy dandy. Badlands, you get them over at Harbor Freight. And I ain't sponsored. Wish it was, but it wasn't. Had to buy it, so. Flip that. Flip that little handle around where it's on the bottom there. Give me a little bit more room. And that don't get in the way of using it. So, there you go. No jack memo. Pretty good jack, I think. Alright, so we're back over here on the bottom of this gas tank. Let's go ahead and take this little petcock off that I stripped out right there the other day. Put that other one on here, and we'll take this whole thing off, take that line off over there on the table. It'll be a lot easier. See if I can get my ratcheted one on there. Oh yeah. Anyway, we get this out, get it cleaned up, get the new one put back on there. We'll put that line on the table over there and get it set, and then just work it all back in there. And then we got them parts to go on the carburetor over there as well. A little bit dripping out of that. I thought I had it all drained out there. There shouldn't be much in it though. All right, I got that other one worked off of there, and so let's get that flared in. Goes in right there. I'm gonna go ahead and start this, and probably not tighten it up all the way. Just leave it where I can move it a little, and we'll go work this whole thing back in there on the tank. Work this back up in the tank, and get these screws in here, and then we'll hook this up. Got to replace this bowl on the other side. We may leave this loose till we get that bowl hooked up and everything, and then we'll snug her all down. So we'll go back and get on that. All right, I got her cleaned up there. Let's see if we can work this back down around. Well, I thought I broke that out of there. Maybe I didn't. Get that right back up here, and then see if we can get this started right here. Get on the low ring on there. There we go. Got that bolt started. Drain all the gas out of that. Take my little gasket off. All right, so we'll have to put these back on that other one. Get me a 1/2-inch wrench, take this off. That's kind of what the deal was with that thing. I'm not sure you can see it there, but like where this hanger, tighten that down, that pulls that bowl up on there. Over the years, it's kind of tweaked them sides in right there, so the thing's kind of egg-shaped. And so the bowl's way away from the rubber right there, but right against the rubber on the side. And so if you ain't got it just right, the thing just leaks like a sieve. So we'll just put a brand new one on there and we'll fix that. And it's kind of tweaked already. Let's take this out and make it right. It's got that little screen in there. Yeah, right there's That makes you feel good when it's wrong to start with. And I dropped my little nut. Let me grab it. One more time. When it's just glass, dropping it on concrete ain't gonna hurt it, is it? That should do it right there. Put our bolt through there. Our bolt through there. Go ahead and screw that bad boy right back on there. All right, back you up there a little bit. Pour a little bit of gas in this thing. Get this thing up there. I probably should have brought that other jug with the big snout on it. That should be enough to test everything. It'll be hard to tell whether it's leaking since I poured it all over everything. We ain't gonna be cranking it today anyway. Oil pan off of it. All right. Bring you back over here on that one. See that? We ain't got no leaks. No leaks on that one. Let me walk over here to the other side. Open this valve up here. I just dropped the screwdriver a bit. All right, well, let's go see what we got on the other side. She's filling up the bowl there. Yeah, stupid bowl's leaking. I just don't really like this setup. The 8 ends, 9 ends, the NAAs all have a glass sediment bowl that's up there on the tank, and it's got like a, I don't remember what it is, 1/4 inch maybe, 3/8 machine or a pipe thread like deal that screws into the tank. So the whole bowl is up there, and they're solid. I mean, yeah, you can have them leak, but this stupid thing here's leaked just about ever since I started working on it. So even the brand new one's garbage as far as I'm concerned. You can see how easy it moves there. Well, I've got it stopped leaking. I think I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, we'll leave that and check it over the next couple of days and make sure it's not leaking. And then we'll get that oil pan gasket, get the oil pan back on there. We'll fire it up and run it a little bit. But until then, I guess we can back up here and get started on this old clutch pedal here. So I might shut you off for a second and clean up some stuff, and then we'll be back. All right, so I pulled that clutch linkage off of there. It had, well, more like a piece of wire than a quarter key in there. And of course we knew this one was bent, so we need to go over there and straighten that up. And we'll maybe take this loose and clean this up where we got some adjustability to it. But this pin here, we're probably gonna need to run over to the tractor supply or somewhere. Let me look around here, I may have one. That thing is wore slam out. So we'll get some new pin to put in there. And may go ahead and take this quarter key out right here and pull that off and clean that up and grease it too while we're there. That's kind of where we're at on that. All right, so I got this old oil pan cleaned up. Kind of went over it again this morning. Had a little surface rust on it where it'd been sitting there for a couple of days waiting on that gasket. So we got a new gasket, and so we'll take a little RTV, put around the edge of that, set it in place. Got all the oil pan bolts cleaned up, and actually went and got a little blue Loctite. When we put that oil pan gasket on there, I'll bring you over and show you. You don't want to just crank those all the way down. Just want to take them up where the gasket kind of starts to pinch a little bit. I'll see if I can get a shot at it right where the bolts are. And so we'll put a little blue Loctite on them bolts, make sure they don't vibrate out, because we're not really going to be cinching them all the way down. At some point, somebody had lost one out of there because they had an oddball they put back in place there that doesn't have a little shoulder on it. So at any rate, we'll get that. Also got a new gasket here for our plug, and I think that 9N that's written inside of that's probably that is off of an old 9N tractor. Usually they have a strainer that's made on the top of this, and that gasket around it, and that oil pump. I'll show you that too when we get over there and start. We'll clean up around under there and get ready to put this oil pan back on there. But the oil pump, where it comes down, has got like a little canister looking thing, and usually it sits inside of that little strainer deal that's usually on this, and this one's gone. But I think we'll be all right. Just we got everything cleaned up good. Go ahead and put our new gasket on here. We might put just a touch RTV around that. It had had a little on it before. We don't want much at all. Just a little bit. Alright, let's see what that does. Well, I should have brought my tool bucket over here because I'm going to need a crescent wrench to tighten that down. Always have to go left before you go right. Get it to line up the threads. Be right back. My old miscellaneous bucket over here. Alright, we're going to call that good. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of RTV around this. And then the idea is to sit this gasket on here and kind of let it get tacky and lined up with the bolt holes. And what we might do, we get it on there, is just drop bolts in that where it'll hold it in place, because it's kind of wants to move around a little. Anyway, we'll get that lined up, let it kind of get tacky. We'll go over there and clean out around the gasket sealing area on the bottom of the block, and kind of look at the rod bearings there. I kind of grabbed a couple of them, shook them the other day. They look pretty good. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll get this bad boy put back on there and get her filled up with oil. See if we can't run her just a little bit. And just get a little tacky. We'll carry this over there and just dump them bolts out. Need to clean that mess up a little bit underneath the tractor. So I'm going to take you over there. I got an old box sitting there where the oil's just kind of been dripping out just a little bit. What's residue. We'll get that mess cleaned up, get you set up there, and we'll look at getting this on there. All right, I'm gonna try to set you up here where you can see that gasket right in here between the oil pan and the block. And I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit down through there. I can keep my ratchet in the right gear. I don't know if you can tell that right there, but we want that where she's just starting to squeeze it. If you crank that all the way down where it starts squishing that gasket out, it'll leak like a sieve. So we want good constant pressure on it. But we don't want to bend that pan up in there, which is the way it was when we took it off, and squish that gasket out. That's about what we want right there. So we'll turn her around here now. And I got that old oil cap cleaned up that I was showing you there the other day. So we'll get us a funnel over there and fill this thing up with oil. So I'll get back with you here in a second. All right, so we got all the dents knocked out of that old oil pan. Got it put back on there. And I've got 2 gallons of oil here. This thing's supposed to hold 6 quarts. So we'll pour a gallon in there, let it set for a second, check it and see what we got, and then we'll go from there. Old building popping and cracking. Sun must be coming out. It's pretty cool this morning. We'll check it. If it looks like it's full, we'll turn it over a little bit, maybe start it, and let it fill that oil filter up, let it run for a minute, shut it off, let it set for a few minutes and check it again. Let's turn our gas on here. Leave that filter sitting in that right there. Ain't got too much blow by it, ought to be all right. Hit the choke this time, see if she'll start. That'll be good enough if we can get the oil checked. We might have to tune on that carburetor a little bit. I'm pretty good on the antifreeze. I'll leave that cap off and run it and see if it's circulating or See if that thermostat opens. Thermostat may be junk, I don't know. Everything else we've looked at's been bad, so. Yep, I believe she needs another quart. Good deal. I was a little concerned about that dipstick being wrong. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, gonna be a little loud here. Got the old tractor running. Had it running for a few minutes here, let it warm up. Oil pressure's still up there right at about 50. Temperature hand is just barely moved up to 130 there. It's doing real good on the temperature and everything. Of course, we just don't have the air box and stuff hooked up, but pretty good. We should be able to go ahead and get the air box put back on there and get the hood thrown on there. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, I'm going to try to put this air box back on there. Hopefully it won't be too loud in here. I got them fans on. Blow some of that exhaust out of here, about to choke me to death. Well, that seems to be going pretty easy. That's simple enough, wasn't it? Grab that piece to go on the bottom of it. Pour some motor oil down in here. It's got a oil level line on it right there, if you can see it. Probably should have put used oil in it. Alright, I want to hold this and back this off. I'm going to say about a full round. Let's go around and a half. To me, that thing wasn't pulling back on the idle enough. down now. That thing was rigging way too high. All right, come on down here. We'll see if we can get you in here on this clutch pedal situation. So that, I should have them little pieces over here already. I guess I'll lay them on the other side. Let me grab them. So right here is the little pins. Like this pin goes through there and the Carter key goes through it. And this is the one from the other side. More slap out. That's the one that was in here. So it had wore on the back side, or the front side, or the opposite side of the way the rod was. So this bolt got a shoulder on it, and it's about the perfect size and the perfect length. We cut them threads off right there, drill that. Drop us a pin right in there and we'll call that good. Okay, this is an over exaggeration, but that little rod right here has got a hole in the bottom of it that pin goes through. So that pin, that hole's way bigger than the pin, probably just from wear. So it's got all this movement. So if I can get a bushing, the bushing from this size up to the size that is, obviously it ain't that big, then I'll take that slack out of that. And got a little bit of slack. We got as much back here. We would have had a bunch back there with this wore out junk in there. But since we cut that bolt and put it in there, that'll fix that. So on this end, I mean, there's a little bit of slack right there, not a great lot. Even there's a little, so. They'd find me a bushing that big, and I think I know where one's at. I'll be back. All right, let me bring you back in here and show you what we got on this deal right here. I had to take that exhaust loose. That hole was kind of oblong, so to drill it out, I had to get this out of the way. Drilled it out, and I knocked my bushing in that. And these, you can tell that one there's kind of wore oblong as well, but it wasn't really. I mean, it ain't terribly bad. So that back one was wore pretty bad. I drilled it out, put a bushing in the back. So that's gonna snug that up. So now I'm gonna stick this back on there, stick that back on there. We'll stick the pins in it, see how big a difference that made. It's gonna be. Oh, another thing, I drilled me a hole in that to put the Carter pin through. So I've been busy. All right, so I got the clutch pedal put back together. Got the exhaust back on there. Got this adjusted. That's still a little higher than what I'm used to, but to be able to get play or travel in the clutch, it pretty much needs to be all the way up there. The throwout bearing really doesn't engage till right there, but at the same time, you don't want that against the throwout bearing the whole time. So that would be a better spot for the pedal. But as you can see by the way it's wore, that's pretty much where it's been riding for a long time. I was able to get a bushing in this thing right here and change that clip a little bit. It ain't near as floppy as it used to be. So I've cranked it up, backed it up, and pulled it up a few times, and so the clutch travel and everything's real good. So we're gonna call that good on that right there. So I'm gonna back you up and get you set up on a tripod over here, and I'm gonna try to go ahead and set that hood on here. One other thing I did, this hood had a little old wing nut right here that was froze up. You couldn't get that open. That little window just opens up and there's a screen in there, goes into that breather box. And let's put a new bolt through there. Bent that little old tab back over it. This thing right here just sits into the breather box. So, and we do have the wiring on the lights ready to go. So I'm gonna try to set that thing up on there. And so all right, yeah, let me get you set up and we'll go from there. All right, let me grab that hood and see if I can just set that thing on there, and then we'll have to find the bolts. A lot of these bolts that came out of it was in pretty rough shape. So let's see what we can do with this thing. Yep. Close, and then we'll go from there. Open that up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wire up our light switch right there and install it before we bolt that in place. Just make it easier to get to. Let's see. Might get them two on the bottom right there. Looking too bad. See what I got bolt wise. Alright, so we got that hood back on there. And she's sturdy as all get out. And we got the lights wired up. I want to show you them lights. So our little switch, pull it out one little notch there. That backlight's on. Pull it out a little further. It's got the front lights and the back lights. Pull it out all the way, and it's just the front lights. So, kind of gives you a little bit of choice about whether to run, if you just need just the back light for whatever you're doing. That's both of them. I guess if you're just coming down the road and it's about dusty dark, it might be good to have both of them on. If you're just out in the field or whatever, just need the front ones, then there you go. So they're working pretty good. This one over here actually didn't work on the front when I first started, and so I had to run a new ground wire from it around over there close to the battery. It didn't have a good ground. So all right, when we bring in here, we'll get a little bit closer look on some of the rest of this stuff. All right, so just to kind of recap, we got our new temperature sending unit put in there. Actually put a plug in that hole there just to, I think that used to be a starter button or something right there. Well, no, starter button's down there, so I don't know what used to be there. It's covered up, whatever it is. Got our new light switch. Of course, we got new battery and new battery box. That thing worked out great. I mean, she's good and solid in there. Ain't even gonna have to have a tie down on that. Got her new wiring around through here. Kind of cleaned everything up. Of course, took all this thing out and cleaned it up real good. And really didn't do nothing to the hood other than just wash it and clean it up. Of course, we fixed that radiator there on the front. And lined that alternator up there. Got inline fuel filter, got a new sediment bowl. And I wouldn't say we really rebuilt the carburetor, pretty much just took it apart and gave it a good cleaning. We did do a new gasket in that top part right there. And of course that new sediment bowl come with new gaskets and stuff. And we got a new oil filter, took that oil pan off and cleaned it up, put a new gasket on it. Boy, that really needed that. And got new oil in it. And so we just patched this thing here. The one we'd bought new didn't work, so we take it back. And of course cleaned all this up, stopped that hole in the bottom of it there, and got oil in it. So it's all working good. Got put some new bushings in our little clutch linkage thing here. Got new bushing in the bottom of that, put a bushing in here. Got this a lot better than what it used to be. And so that's working real good. So the old tractor is pretty much done. The only thing we need to do, made a few changes on what we had on this old pedal here. These type of pins, I don't know if you noticed that or not when the video on that while ago. These type of pins will work in a situation like that, but they're easy to get caught and pull out, especially on a tractor out in the field or something. I had Carter keys and I could not find them, so I went and bought a new pack similar to this. This ain't Carter keys. This is actually some keeper rings, and I'm gonna change this out and put a keeper ring around that right there and put a Carter key in front of it. And I already stuck another Carter key in that one. I just hadn't bent it back yet. But those Carter keys, put them in there and bend them, and they'll stay in place where these, something catch them and they'll pop right out. So I'll clean them up, put them back in the pack. They're good in the right area, but maybe not necessarily right there. So I just wanted to show you that. Show you also on those governor deal here. So you got your choke rod coming in right here, and this rod right here hooks up to your throttle and goes back here and hooks up to this governor rod, and it's got a spring on it right back there. And so that governor is supposed to keep your RPMs at a set point, and it was all out of adjustment, so the RPMs it would turn way too many RPMs for a tractor. So we got that fixed, got it where idle's good, ribs up real good, comes back down good. Now if we got the old tractor going, we're down to pretty much just cosmetic stuff. I got an idea of what I might do to fix these armrests up here, and we may even loosen them up and get them to where they're adjustable like they're supposed to be, where you can flip them up to get off and on and get rid of that junk. I got an idea, so maybe next week we'll get on that or the next video for the tractor as far as that goes. And this old bush hog, I've got an idea on how I'm going to fix all this mess right here, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So that'll be coming up in future video. Our Shadow, he wants to say hello. Hello, people. All right, we appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you on the next one.